I think a lot of the times we try to take matters into our own hands, and that is also not an advisable thing to do. You might be putting yourself or your loved ones in danger.
But the quicker you get to us, the quicker you tell us the problem, the quicker we can solve the problem.
Welcome to the Circle of Safety with me, Mandy Wiener. A conversation delving into the world of scamming. We'll speak to clinical psychologists, experts. We'll understand the psychology of scammers, and we'll speak to scammers themselves. From the darkness into the light, we expose the art of scamming. Turn your vulnerability into vigilance. This is the Circle of Safety. How do you deal with those feelings of violation?
You become poisoned, you become grumpy, you become doubtful, you become hateful. The more we start to think that it was actually a line.
Change is the only constant. Keep it moving and so on. And so we are constantly under pressure. I always think, what if I press the wrong button and I don't even know firstly that I've pressed the wrong thing and I can't retrieve that?
Insurance companies are seeing a spike in scammers targeting policyholders for their personal information. Nobody knows more about this than Funeka Ngewo from Momentum Insure. Funeka, welcome back to season 2 of Circle of Safety.
Thank you, Mandy.
What was the reaction like to season 1 in terms of awareness and education around scamming?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. I think we got a lot of feedback on all our social media platforms from different people saying, listen, they had been scammed and they are now better informed around the many scams that are out there. They had better feedback from people who are involved in scams, so better understanding of the psychology behind scams. So we got such positive feedback about also educating people about scams as a brand, obviously. And I think just that awareness that people have now around this has been very, very inspiring for us, and that's why we're back for season 2.
My feedback was that a lot of people were willing to speak up about being scammed, and they weren't willing to speak up before. Because they realized how many people had a similar story to what they'd experienced.
100%. There's a lot of shame around it, which is actually something that you don't consider. People are embarrassed that they fell for a scam, and I don't want to tell my friends that I actually fell for this. So there is a lot of shame around this, which I found surprising, but I also have now a better understanding.
You decided to fight back.
Yes.
And you've done that through developing products.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So we were introduced to a private investigating organization called Africa Risk Frontiers. We realized we could build a product of this and take this to the market and share that competence with the public and somehow package it so it's not too expensive. So we had to find a way to price it correctly and deliver that priced product to the market.
Artificial intelligence is obviously a buzzword right now within the financial services sector. It is a great tool to use to mitigate some of the risk attached to scammers because you are able to validate that you are speaking to the correct person through things like voice recognition. So we are getting a little bit ahead of the scammers, but obviously they always find ways to find a new way to get to you.
Identity Guard has entered into a partnership with Momentum Insure. What does this mean for Momentum Insure clients, and how would it help them to navigate this world of fraud?
There's a number of really exciting things that we believe will add value to the policyholder and the insured individual of Momentum Insure. The most important thing is that we're going to have regular information and regular content driven through the app to the individuals to tell them what the current scams are, who's doing what and how they're doing it and why they're doing it and what to look out for. But most important of all is we're a direct, fast hotline that should anything have happened to you, or should you think anything had happened to you, reach out to us, reach out to our investigators, our experts, and we'll help you as quickly as possible and make sure that it doesn't go any further, or we can solve it as quickly as possible.
A lot of businesses are now being forced to pay monies over to individual as protection fees. So they are targeting commercial insurance policies. So businesses essentially. So that is a big one at the moment. I think another one is trying to impersonate a client to get their information in order for them to be able to open up policies in your name so that they can claim on your name.
One of the things we do first and foremost is once you become an Identity Guard member, we tokenize your identity in all the credit unions. So you spoke earlier about going and checking your credit record. We will put a token on your credit and on your identification in the credit bureau that if anybody touches it or looks at it or tries and adapts it, you immediately get alerted to that fact.
What are some of the new trends you're seeing?
Something that is quite prevalent at the moment for commercial type policies or businesses is extortion, obviously, where somebody tells you that you have to pay them for a protection fee. If you do not pay them a protection fee, something happens to your property, so your business can catch a light, as an example, and you're going to have to submit a claim. Another type of scam that's quite prevalent is people impersonating you. So they will take Mandy's details and they will open an insurance policy with another insurer, and they will submit a claim and take your details, in essence, to verify where you live, what type of information they can get to about you, essentially, so that they can open as many accounts as possible.
But the quicker you get to us and the quicker you tell us the problem, the quicker we can solve the problem.
They can commit fraud, pretending to be you, obviously. And another one that is affecting us is the clients themselves being forced to commit fraud by the individual or extortionist. So they approach you, you put your vehicle on sale, as an example.
What are you doing in terms of using artificial intelligence and trying to stay a step ahead?
So there are so many things that we're trying to do as an organization. I think education, first and foremost, is the most important thing. I think people need to be vigilant. They need to understand what risks are out there, how to mitigate those risks. Unfortunately, we don't ask enough questions. The second thing that I think that we do, which is extremely important, is investigate from an AI perspective and a tech perspective, what are the things that we can do as an insurance company to protect our clients. Voice recognition to check that we are actually speaking to you, Mandy, or alternatively, we send you a code to your cell phone number that you would need to verify that we are actually speaking to you. But the biggest thing is obviously trying to keep ahead of what scams are out there and what we can do to continuously improve on what we have. And that is going to be a constant motion.
What would you like your clients to know going forward? What lessons do you want them to take? And how do you want them to feel if they need to come to you to tell you that they have fallen victim to a scam?
So I think the first thing is there is no shame in being scammed. I think I have even fallen for a scam. Once you know that you've been scammed, reach out to your insurance company and get proper advice on how to move forward, right? I think a lot of the times we try to take matters into our own hands, and that is also not an advisable thing to do. You might be putting yourself or your loved ones in danger. And if it is something that impacts your loved ones and there's a threat, please involve obviously the police. But there is no shame. Please speak to us as an insurance company and get advice around how to move forward. But definitely there is no shame. We just want you to be safe.
We've explored the shadowy world of scammers and uncovered the latest trends in deception. Remember, knowledge is your best defense. So keep watching The Circle of Safety. For more information on how to protect yourself against fraud and scammers, visit momentum.co.za.